Let's get to our stock of the day. Credit Suisse sees a short-term re-rating of CSL at current multiple, downgrading it to neutral from outperform. The broker says the market has not factored in the negative hit on margins from lower volumes and higher donor fees. It also sees headwinds to recovery, including pressure on collections going forward after a U.S. border protection decision that will see Mexican nationals finding it more difficult to come to those plasma donation clinics. The price target has been lowered to $310 from $315. Rudi, I'll start with you. The haters are going to hate. I mean, 4 downgrades for CSL in less than 2 weeks. And a lot of it does have to do with that border protection decision in the U.S. So what is going on?
Yes, well, I think if you take a little bit of a macro view on this, it should be clear to everyone that the pandemic, the virus, whatever you want to call it, has essentially laid bare some of the vulnerabilities in the CSL business model. It is not a company-specific thing. This is industry-specific, of course, and it comes very back to the core of the business. If you want to develop your products, you need to be able to collect plasma. And to be able to do that, people need to come to your collection centers. And that is a little bit of a question mark. It's not that they don't collect plasma. It's just that they can't maximize their collection at the moment. And the recovery of post last year is going a little bit more gradual, it's slower. And you see that reflected in the share price and in the fact that brokers downgrade the stock when it tends to rally above $300, as has happened now twice over the next 6 months or the past 6 months or so. I think people. Everyone knows this. I'm a big shareholder in CSL. Well, not that I'm a big shareholder in CSL. CSL is a big component in my portfolio, which is the other way around.
Yeah.
And I'm taking a long-term view, and I'm relying on the fact that this is a high-quality company. This is obviously a transformation they have to go through. It doesn't go in straight lines. You just have to take these volatility pullbacks into your strides, as far as I'm concerned. But I also think it's fair to say that people should temper their expectations. CSL had been one of the stellar performers on the Australian share market in the past 5 years or so, or you can even take it longer. I think the performance of the shares over the next 5 to 10 years, in particular over the next 5 years, will be more subdued than they have been over the past 5 years, and that's because the company now has to adjust to a post-COVID environment. And I'm going to stop my emails, by the way, because otherwise it's going to get annoying for the viewers. But I think people should realize that this is every company at some point goes through a phase when things are not going as smoothly as they were, and a global pandemic has had an impact on CSL. I still think it's a great long-term buy, but for the short term, I think people should not have too high expectations. As far as the downgrade from Credit Suisse specifically goes, it becomes a little bit of a question. What should you be focusing on here? Do you focus on the negatives or on the positives? And we write on a regular basis about CSL. There are definitely positives out there. I think we should all wait until the results release in August. I'm sure management will highlight some of the positives and explain some of the negatives. And I think CSL is what it is. It's one of the highest quality companies on the ASX.
Okay, so, I mean, given that its price target is still $3.10, it's trading at $2.82. Is it a buy today for a long-term hold?
Oh, I can only observe that the share price tends to pull back to the 280, 270 region, and has been doing that over the past 12 months or so. I think it's a great buy if you don't focus on the short term for this stock.
Claude, would you be putting CSL into your portfolio today at 282?
No, I think so. My view on this has changed very recently, and I think Rudi's going to disagree with me, and that's okay, and he's maybe right. But I actually sold my CSL shares just last month in May. Now, that was not because I foresaw, these downgrades or anything like that. It's actually a different issue for me, which is that I wonder if CSL's performance through the pandemic, and I'm talking about the more innovative vaccine side of their business, might be a hint that what was previously one of the most innovative, high-achieving, and quite frankly, very high-quality healthcare companies in Australia, I think that it had its moment last year. It was supposed to deliver or be involved in the production of a vaccine for Australia. It made two bets, AstraZeneca and the University of Queensland vaccine, and both of those bets were bad. Now, I wonder how a company that employs so many intelligent, forward-thinking, scientifically minded, talented individuals, how did it miss the mRNA boat completely? And this, for me, is not just a question of, this is a question of the culture of the company at the top, because I'm without knowing, I strongly suspect that individuals within CSL would have absolutely realized that mRNA vaccines were going to be important. So I wonder how that wasn't listened to and how they didn't end up being part of the solution that we so badly needed. And that would have really, if they had been producing mRNA vaccines right now, their share price would be flying for a start. And second of all, they would be doing a great service to all Australians. So I sold my shares in CSL because I'm so angry they didn't do that.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. I will give you a reply there. Is that food for thought, Rudi?
No, I think it's being a little bit too harsh here. For starters, CSL has done an acquisition in the mRNA space, so it is part of the portfolio. And I don't think they missed it. I think Claude is just missing the fact, or maybe overemphasizing the fact, that when you produce one type of vaccine, you can't just in a few weeks' time build a whole new facility and start producing the other one. The choice for AstraZeneca wasn't CSL's. It was the Australian government's decision. And the reason why CSL produced that in Melbourne is because that is very similar to what they were doing there already. So I don't think it's as black as white as Claude is saying here.
Okay. Well, look,
I think
guys.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Okay. All right. Well, regardless, you sold yours. It's a sell from Claude, and that means that it's coming out of the ausbiz portfolio. Making your mark already, guys. You're not allowed to have regrets, Claude. No regrets.